Welcome to the video on exploring Power BI reports. This video focuses on what's called the report canvas. The middle area here of tables, data, and visuals unique to each report. The area surrounding the report canvas that contains all of the menus and buttons is covered in the video navigating the interface. Many reports have a visual hierarchy going from top to bottom. Oftentimes, the information on top summarizes, combines, or aggregates the information underneath. In this planned releases table, the DC on hand row represents all of the DC on hand releases in this bottom table underneath. Left-clicking a visualization or a cell in a table filters other on-screen elements using that value. As an example, if I left-click DC on hand, the bottom table underneath filters out all of the other PO statuses to only show DC on hand. Clicking DC on hand again removes the filter, showing all of the statuses once more. Clicking like this to filter data is called cross-filtering, and we explore it in greater detail in the video, Filtering Reports. Left-clicking a column header sorts its contents ascending or descending like so. Right-clicking column headers, visuals, and table cells reveals additional interactions. You may also have noticed icons show up when I hover my mouse over a table. These pop-up action buttons provide some really helpful features. This one, Filters on Visual, provides a quick way to see which filters currently apply to a data set we're viewing. To demonstrate, I'll cross-filter all DC on hand releases again in this top table. The bottom table updates accordingly. Now, when I hover over Filters on Visual, we're shown that the DC on hand filter is in effect. We're not able to edit or remove filters from this action, but we can see at a glance which ones are altering our view. Personalize this visual is likely one of the most popular and useful features, so I'll come back to this in a second to give it enough attention. Occasionally, a report is a little crowded. Focus mode allows us to zoom in on one visual or table. Clicking focus mode fills the entire canvas while still enabling us to view details and access the filters pane. For maximum space, check out the full screen view in the interface. Lastly, some additional features exist in this three dots menu. The feature you may use the most is Export Data, but we'll explore that in the video, Sharing and Exporting. Returning to the Personalize this visual action button, we can personalize our display by changing the type of visuals, also known as visualizations. Only some reports and data will benefit from certain visualization types, but this kind of customization is really powerful, especially with a bit of filtering and practice. We can customize the parameters of each visualization type below. With my current table visual, for example, left-clicking a column field allows us to change it to a different one. Clicking the plus icon lets us add new columns, for instance, vendor name. We can also click and drag the parameters to change the order of the columns on the report canvas. I want vendor name to be the first column, so I'll drag it above the other parameters. Notice it's now the first column in this bottom table. Lastly, the three dots allow us to remove fields as well as slice the column data differently. You can see how all of these filters and changes can really alter our perspective of the information. If we want to reset the report to its default state, this yellow arrow is a reset button. Filtering data and personalizing views is about crafting a compelling story, so if you expect to customize a report a certain way often, check out the video, Bookmarking Reports, to learn how to simplify your process down to as few clicks as possible. Other features you may encounter in reports include sliders, drilling, and buckets. The two circles on this horizontal slider here represent the lower and upper bounds of this visual. Clicking and dragging a circle changes that bound, focusing the visual more precisely. Drilling up and down is a way of exploring data that's structured in levels of hierarchy. As an example, this visual here aggregates DC inventory release dollars into year. By drilling down, we can see those dollars by month instead of by year. The boxes along the top of this report are containers of information called buckets. The active bucket is indicated by a thick red line. All of the information and visuals below are contained within this active DC on hand total inventory bucket. It may help to think of the buckets at the top of this report as tabs in an internet browser. What you see in a browser window depends on the tab you're currently viewing. When you change tabs, the content shown in the browser changes too. Similarly, these other 4 buckets show summaries of the data inside them, but that data isn't visible anywhere on screen. Only after I click the Short Stay bucket am I taken out of the Total Inventory bucket and presented with the information inside the Short Stay bucket. This is important to remember when we're personalizing visuals, because adding or removing columns inside one bucket doesn't affect other buckets. To demonstrate, I'll remove class name from the Short Stay bucket. When I return to the Total Inventory bucket, we can see the class name column again. These differences can be confusing when first learning to use Power BI, but the level of control and granularity we're given ends up making Power BI that much more powerful. We hope this has been informative. Catch us in future videos and you'll be a Power BI professional in no time.